You want to go to the work of taking off the foil now and showing it, do you?
I'll take off the foil.
I'll videotape you when you carve it too.
Oh, okay. There it is.
Ta-da!
Smoked in mesquite.
Smells fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think I missed the beginning of this carving. Looks like we're down to bone, Howie.
Jill gave me.
Oh, yeah, Marvin's my helper. Can you guess what you're supposed to do with those, Marvin?
Yeah, remember you had a birthday? We had a birthday cake.
Have you sampled it yet, Howie?
Why?
How is it?
Great.
Good. Will you smile for the camera?
Bubbie is.
Oh, wait, I'm supposed to tell everybody to be quiet. Let me hold the other kids away from you.
You're on like 23, like
On 23, what happened? It was on 12 when I gave it to you.
I took 2. I took You know what'll happen then? I think if you look in there, you'll see the nice on here. You'll see some dirt.
Like this.
Touch your finger to see what number. Don't hold it at the window. Oh, what's it like?
All right, Andrew says stop talking.
Starting over.
Mother?
Starting over with a whole bunch of new
That was very good.
Is it my
Sing
turn?
with you, Andrew? Can we sing with you?
Andrew, do you want to sing happy birthday?
No.
Because we're going to sing happy birthday.
That's happy. After the deer.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bubbie. Happy birthday to you. Okay, lean a little closer, Julie. Lean closer to Bernice. Bernice, lean closer to Julie.
Yeah. I want to be on the back.
And that Nathan,
Here's the wagon for me.
they took Nathan to the army. They were not supposed to take one son because the king, the Tsar, had one son and he was sick. So they wasn't supposed to take one son, but something was bad and they drafted Nathan
How
to
old
the
was
army.
he at the time?
He was about 21.
Oh, he was 20.
So my father went on a diet.
I'm
He
gonna
used
be
to
on
drink
that.
a lot of black coffee and didn't sleep nights. You can see on this picture. He was only maybe 53 years old. And they brought him home after 11 months. He was stationed very far in Kafkaz, Tashkent. And it took a month until he came home. They brought him home because they showed that my father is sick and he can't support the family. So they brought him home.
Daddy.
So your father cared a lot
Right here.
for Nathan.
And then my father, Fanny was going to high school, you know, like here in high school, and we had to pay for it. So my father got sick with the kidneys. I couldn't remember when I told him how, but he got sick. He got sick with the kidneys, and he couldn't work so much. So my mother was very worried. She was afraid that maybe they wouldn't pay us, you know. So they took away Fanny from school. So Fanny was very worried. And so she wanted to go to the States because Celia was here. But she was 14 years old and my father wouldn't let her go by herself. So Nathan said, you'll go with her. He didn't want to go to America, but just to bring over Fanny. So he brought her over. And then the war broke out. So we didn't hear from them. Meanwhile, my father died during this time. We didn't hear from them for a couple of years. Then we started to hear from them. We heard that Fanny was married, and Yosele was born already. And then they started to work for us to come out. And we came out here.
What was it like being a child? Remember anything about your childhood?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't think you'd remember.
We didn't live right in the town because the factory was out of the town. But we used to walk, you know. You know, in Europe we used to walk an awful lot. We used to walk to the town. And I finished going to school and I went to Simsted to learn how to.
Oh, like a sewing school?
Yeah. And then when the war broke out, I worked at the hospital.
Now, how old were you at that?
Must have been maybe say 18, 16, 17.
Okay.
I worked in the hospital for a long time. And then I got sick with the typhoid. I worked in the typhoid. So I got sick with the typhoid and Bella got sick with the typhoid. So after I was sick with the typhoid, they transferred me where they operate.
Surgery?
They operated on a soldier and I had to hold his foot. So I almost fainted. And they were so pleased with me that they made me for a nurse, honest to God, you know. When I came to America, and I was, so they gave me a paper, you know, in case I want to be a nurse, I should show the paper, but I never
That's
did.
wonderful.
I never did. They were very pleased with me. They sent me to learn Latin. I should be able to read the prescriptions, the medicine.
Uh-huh.
But then, you know, we left for America already.
Now, when you left for America, you were about 21, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then I met
a
your
young
father.
man.
Your father was living in the city. We lived in the outskirts. I don't know how I happened.
Did you know him? Did you know my
Yeah, I
father
don't know
in
how
Europe?
I happened to get in with him, and we fell in love. The two.
Now, how did that happen? Did you have parties or?
I don't remember how it happened that we used to meet. You know, he used to come out to yours. So
Did he have family there?
yeah,
Oh, nice.
I am surprised. I had a picture of his mother and his sisters that I don't have it in the
Yeah, but
box.
you probably
Maybe
threw
it
out
was
the
in
first
the other
box.
album, yeah. I was surprised, not
Too
to
bad.
see it. And his mother, he's had a mother and two sisters. And he had a brother that lived in Albany.
Mm-hmm.
So the same time that we were coming to New York, he and his mother and the two sisters went to Albany. And so we used to correspond, And then they moved to New York, he and the mother and the two sisters. And we decided to get married. So we got
Oh,
married.
nice. Now, you didn't do much. Like today, couples date and they go out together a lot.
No,
Now, it wasn't arranged or anything, was it?
no,
Your marriage was not arranged. You just met each other and fell in love.
yeah.
The way it happens now.
No, it wasn't arranged. Not by, no, we fell in love. We knew each other from Europe. And my boss, our boss, where we worked in the factory, where my father worked, they had children, So he had a boy like my age, and he liked me too. So he used to say, look, for me you don't care. It comes from from the city. His father
A city
was
slicker.
a Balagoli. You know what a Balagoli means?
I'll go. I don't really.
That we used to take people by horse and wagon from one town to the other. There was no buses or trains.
Okay.
So his father used to take the
And that's
people.
called a balagoli.
That's how he made a living. Yeah.
Like a guide.
And the guy, I don't know how you call it. You
Something
call
like
it in Jewish a Balagoli.
Balagoli. Okay.
But
Good to know.
But then we came here to the States, and they moved. His mother and the two sisters moved to New York, and we arranged to get married. So we got married. But then across the street from us, where we lived his an uncle with the two daughters. His father's brother.
Now you already married?
Yeah.
Okay. Now where did you settle down? What street?
I lived in Clinton Street, an
Thank you.
apartment we got in Clinton
So you had an
Street.
apartment,
Clinton and Delancey.
Clinton and Delancey.
Yeah.
Okay. Very busy,
Yeah,
Place.
very busy
very
section.
Jewish place.
Yeah. Years ago was all over Jewish.
Sure.
And when he was in Albany, he used to work for a bakery, not to get a horse and wagon
You
to
mean
deliver
Used to deliver bakery.
bakery.
We're
But when
talking
he
about my
came to
father.
the States, to New York,
Uh-huh.
Chaim, my brother-in-law, took him
Really?
in to work for him.
Oh, so he worked for Chaim.
Yeah, he worked for Chaim.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay, this I didn't know.
yeah. I was telling how he was working for Chaim.
Oh, he's working for
But
Chaim.
then when we separated, he would work, Chaim would have him anymore.
Mhm.
So he worked for another company, Braxton's. You heard the Braxton's?
Oh, sure.
He worked for Braxton's because
Oh,
he
I
had
see.
experience already.
Uh-huh.
And then after the years, after we were divorced and everything, he went on his own, made his own business. And then he moved, So that's the story.
Okay, I want to ask you something about Europe again. Now, as a little girl, do you remember the games that you played? How did you have fun? What did you do? Because you must have had fun, because I know you had girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
What
I
did you
used
do?
to go to the city, and we used to go on the Saturday. During the week we had no time, but there was
On Shabbos you went?
Shabbos.
Uh-oh.
I used to come to the city, and they lived, the two girlfriends, and the picture lived in the city. And we used to go to a park, and we had to cross a lake that had just a small park, and there was a windmill and a big, used to toy in a windmill.
Yeah, the paddles.
And we had to cross the lake in a small part, it was very dangerous,
Oh, yeah, I see
because the
what-
wheel turned,
Mhm.
So we used to go there, used to spend in the park, in a wall, like in the woods,
Oh, that's
the
nice.
girlfriend. sometimes I used to sleep over even with one of the girls because we lived out of town.
So in other words, you didn't live in a shtetl.
No, we were at house. It was to be maybe a mile or 2 miles because the factory couldn't stay in the city. It stayed out of the city.
Because I think the shtetl were very strict about Shabbos and
Yeah,
things
of
like
course,
that.
yeah, it was mostly Jewish, you know.
So you started to break away from that.
Yeah, yeah, Shabbos Jewish. I mean, during the week, you know, when I went to school, and I was going to school, and after I finished school, I was learning how to sew, you know. I went to a Nitec to learn how to sew.
What was,
And then I worked in the hospital.
yeah. Well, you were already an older girl. Right?
Yeah.
But do you remember going to school as a younger girl, like 8 years old, 9 years old?
I
You
don't
have any
remember,
memory?
you
What was
know, my
school like?
ear used to leak, you know, pause,
Yeah.
and didn't pay attention. I didn't know I don't hear until I came to the States. I started to talk on the telephone, and this year I didn't hear.
Yeah.
So I this, and then I
amazing.
found out I don't hear. Because this year was very good, so I didn't miss it.
Yeah. See, here we have doctors and nurses.
No, I didn't go to the doctor.
So, but you don't remember anything about the teachers or the
Yeah, I
lessons?
had a picture.
So
I had a
tell us.
picture from the teachers of
Tell
the
me
school.
about that. I want
Maybe I'll find it yet someplace.
Good. Oh, you probably threw it out with that first batch. Oh, boy.
No, it was a big picture. I couldn't.
Tell me
I
something
didn't
about-
have it now.
About the teachers and that you remember. And
It was the teachers were Jewish, but they taught Russian.
oh, I see.
And the inspector, you know, the principal was a gentle guy. Yeah, I remember that very well.
Well, just tell a few things that you remember. That would be interesting. Some of the things you remember about the classes, about the children, the teachers, the inspector, anybody.
Well, that's all I remember. That the Tsukhazi said, I remember the name. One teacher was his name Tsukhazi's, and the other name was Melamed.
Men?
Melamed,
You
men.
had men teachers?
Men, yeah, men.
No lady teachers?
No,
Oh, that's interesting.
no lady teachers, men.
Only men teachers,
Other
no
men,
lady
yeah.
teachers. And they made a living?
Yeah,
The teachers?
also, yeah. And there was a school only for gentle children.
I see. So did they separate the Jewish children?
Yeah,
Oh, they separated the Jewish children from the other children?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Jewish was separate and the gentles were
Okay.
separate.
Now, were the Jewish children permitted to, say, become engineers or doctors or things
Yeah, I
like that?
suppose so. I had in my city a lady dentist, a Jewish lady dentist, and the Jewish doctors. We had Jewish doctors in our city.
So they must have been educated.
Well,
In
mostly
Russian
Jewish,
schools.
you know. They're mostly Jewish, you know, dentist, doctor, sure. The gentle doctors too, but they're Jewish doctors too.
Now, in your town, Ushmana, right?
Huh?
Ushmana is your town? Was it an old Jewish town? Or was there a mixture of Jews?
Well,
Nice.
the gentles, well, most of them worked on the farms out of the
I
city.
see.
But I think there was some in the city too,
Okay.
but mostly Jewish.
Because that was
Mostly
not
Jewish.
usual. You know, most Jewish people settled in these little
Yeah.
shtetls, little towns, little ghettos. You
You
might
see,
say.
the gentle people mostly lived out, you know, like farms, you know, and they had and on Thursday we had a market. They used to come, they used to pass by our house to sell eggs and chickens. They used to come to the city.
You know, we have the same thing.
They have it here
Sure.
too. Yeah, the
It's called
smaller
farmer
towns.
market.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it by us too, every Thursday.
Well, see, here we thought we had such a bright idea, and he had been doing that 60, 70 years ago. That's
My
wonderful.
mother couldn't speak Russian, and she used to talk to him so funny. And They used to carry eggs. We used to ask him how much are the eggs. In a funny way, she used to ask him, I'd say, an egg in Russian is yaiko. And she used to ask him, how much are the yaitse? She couldn't, so many years she couldn't speak Russian.
And
Like here when you come, some people, the Spanish people, they can't speak English.
She spoke Yiddish.
Yeah, we spoke
Yiddish.
Yiddish, yeah.
now, what languages did you learn to speak?
I spoke Russian and Polish too. That's all. German, when the
Okay.
Germans were by
That's-
us, not
that's
when
pretty
Hitler. They had before the war, the First World War. The Germans were in our city, but they weren't Nazis that time.
No, it was
So
just
we
German.
knew German too. They stayed by us, I think, a year or something like that.
And Yiddish you spoke?
Huh?
You spoke Yiddish too.
Of course.
That's 4 languages.
Yiddish.
Anything else?
Yiddish is our own language.
Sure.
We learned Hebrew too, but I forgot.
Yeah.
We went to school to learn Hebrew.
Well, see, of course, Hebrew in those days was a religious language, not a conversational one. So I don't think people spoke Hebrew too much.
Did I tell you that one of my second cousins, in Israel, she came with 2 boys, and they were uncircumcised in Russia. So in Israel, they circumcised, I know the older one was 13 or 14, the younger one. So then they became real Jews.
Well,
They
were-
went
So one
to
of
Israel for
my
the
nephews says-
circumcision?
It's,
Left Russia.
it's
Yeah.
taught you, a boy like Jesus to circumcise. One of my nephews,
Yeah.
he was very much against it. Norman,
I didn't think
taught
I
you,
mentioned-
taught you.
Now, tell us something about your friends.
But
Your
what?
friends in Europe. What do you remember about them?
I don't know.
Anything at all?
On Saturday we used to get together and go to the park,
Okay, that was on Saturday.
I
Were
don't
they
know.
from the same town as you?
Huh?
Were they from Ushman?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I
But
see.
we lived out
They
of
went
town.
together.
But I suppose we know them from school, We knew them from school.
Mhm.
And one of my boss's sons was in love with a girl. My boss had, 3 sons and 2 daughters. He had a daughter, deaf and dumb. She spoke with her hands.
Yes.
So one of the sons fell in love with a girl in the city, and they were in the police. The parents were in the police. But so they took him to the army, and I don't know what was during the war. He died, he died. And so that girl that he fell in love with, her sister, was one of my friends. I had her
I
on
see.
the picture. I had her on the picture with the 2 girls. So I used to go into the house, and I knew everything all about. I used to come to the house.
I'm going to ask you a hard question. What kind of a father was your father?
My
Did you
father
like? Did you like him as a father?
was very nice man, my father. Very nice. He
Tell-
loved
tell
the
us
children. When my mother used to give him food, so he used to give to the children. My mother used to take very good care of him because he was a sick man.
Yeah.
So my mother, he used to give away this one and this one, this one. Very, very good father. Was a very good father. When Celia left, he cried. He didn't want her to go.
Of course.
But she had a boyfriend here, she insisted to go. He made a nice living.
Was that Chaim her boyfriend?
No, when she came to the States, he had another girlfriend.
I see.
And she didn't
So
marry
it
him.
changed.
He didn't marry her. Then she found Chaim, was also from our neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
We knew his mother and his brother. And then she met Chaim, and they got married. And when Fanny came, when Celia sent for Fanny, did she send a picture of a big house, a brick house? They thought it's horse. You know, my father gave them money. If she didn't pay for them, my father gave them money to pay for the Schiffskarte. For the, so she came to Chile. Ze gewoon finsteren heen. They had a farm from cows. And they sold their milk.
So what was this big house? This big
There was
building?
a neighbor next door. Philip was very much surprised. She came from such a nice home on a farm in New Jersey. And the pigs, but it's the Cork, it's not far away, the pigs, and it smelled. And my brother-in-law used to go in overalls, you know, he used to milk the cows and give the cows food. Well, she didn't stay long there. She asked my sister Celia to take her to New York. And she took her in New York and she left her by Chaim's an aunt. Chaim Lieberman's, our brother-in-law's an aunt that she knew also from
Still
our
Fanny.
town. Yeah. And you know, Fanny was very disappointed and very lonely. So once she sat in the window, Fanny, and she saw passing a girl. They lived further than we lived. And when they had to go to the city, they had to cross our house. So we knew them very well. The girl, you know, it's Ida, you know, Ida.
Ida.
Yeah. So she jumped down, Fanny, and she took a hold of her, and she didn't let her go already back there, so she took her to their house, you know. And she remained over there, and they had 3 sons, you know, Harry, and Easy, you knew Easy, Harry's brother,
Yeah.
and Shmuel, 3 boys.
Same.
Well, so she fell in love with Harry, and after a while they got married. And they were happy after.
Yeah, those marriages lasted.
Huh?
Those marriages lasted.
Yeah.
So here the 3 brothers married 3 of the girls from either the same town or close.
See,
Close
your
to it.
eyes water like mine.
Yes, they do.
Maybe you have cataracts too.
Well, we're not talking about cataracts right now.
You
We're
got
talking about
did
you.
you go to
Yes, everything is taken care of. Don't worry about that. Let's talk. I want you to tell me something about your mother. What do you remember about your mother? Because I remember her as
my
dad.
mother was, you know, a very
Amazing.
worrying kind, you know, when it was the First World War, and that they drafted from the towns, the soldiers, they had to pass by our house, so she was very much afraid because they were angry, you know. So whatever she had, one or something, she used to hide in the ground, you know, dig a hole, and then she couldn't find it, I'm telling you.
Sounds about right.
And she was a very worrying kind. My father was sick, she was only afraid. After our father died, they still kept us. They still kept us in the apartment. And then, when we left, they took in another machinist, you know, and I don't know whether they paid us or they didn't. But after our father died, it was a couple of years that we went to America.
Now, when you came to America, how did you go? I mean, did you stop off at different places?
We went
How did it work?
to Warsaw.
Warsaw
Warsaw.
and Poland?
And over there we had to stay, we had to attend some papers or
Now, how
something.
did you get to Warsaw? Did you take a train or walk?
By train, I suppose.
You don't
Yeah,
remember.
I don't remember. But then we left from Danzig, you know, Danzig, Germany.
yes.
We left from
That was a
Danzig.
free city
Yeah,
at one time.
yeah. And
Non-existent.
we didn't come to Ellis Island. We came to Boston.
You didn't come to Ellis Island? Another dream shattered.
We came to Boston.
Boston.
Yeah. And then Nathan and Fanny came to take us off, you know, in Boston.
Oh, I didn't know
No,
that.
we didn't come to Ellis Island. We came to
What
Boston.
about Nathan and Fanny? Did they come to Ellis
came,
Island?
yeah, they came to
Oh, they
Ellis
came to
Island.
Ellis Island, but you did not.
No, we didn't have to come to Ellis Island. We came to
Interesting.
Boston. And Nathan came and they took us to Nathan, to Hartford, Connecticut.
How did Nathan happen to live in the Hartford area? Why didn't he go to New York like
I think in New York he met Paul's an uncle, I think. And I know and Polly had all her family in Connecticut. So I suppose when they got married with Polly, they made her move to Connecticut.
I know that story well.
Yeah. Polly had, 3 or 4 brothers. She was the only girl. She was the only daughter. And then you know her father, her mother. You remember?
Mother, I
Yeah.
remember father.
And the brothers, you didn't know any of her brothers.
Could you just go over that? You remember who they were?
Yeah, they were Maya, the oldest brother. They were Izzy. And David and his wife was born in a fire from Ringling Brothers in Hartford. There was a fire. And she went with her 2 boys to watch the circus. And it broke out the fire, and they trembled. One of the boys, the people were running, and they trembled here, and her too. And she was sick in the hospital, and she died. And the boy also died. Remained only 1 boy remained. So now, that Milton had to sell the house where Bella lived, so they hired him as a lawyer. Dave's son, So he remarried. The man remarried. And one of the sons remained, so he's a lawyer now in Hartford, Connecticut. So where my sister lived, Bella, that would belong to my nephews. She didn't pay a penny rent. She didn't pay nothing, didn't cost her maintenance and nothing, and tax and everything they paid. So now that Bella moved away, they sold the house, so they got this boy for a lawyer. So many stories.
Good, keep them coming.
Huh?
That's good. Just
Yeah.
keep cranking them out.
And Bella didn't like Florida. She can't take the heat. But Paul insisted he wanted. And why did they pay for her? When my sister-in-law came, when my brother was dead, she came by herself. We lived downstairs and she lived upstairs. So they
You're talking
wanted
about the
Bella
condo now.
to take her,
Are you talking about the condo that you're living in now? You're talking about the condominium? Yeah.
That's the only one that
Right.
I live.
Okay. Would
They
you like a
wanted
drink of
Bella
water?
to take a little care of her. So that's why they brought Bella, to Florida. And they got for her the place. And she used to go with her to the beauty parlor and go and help her shopping, because Fanny was sick, Fanny had a heart attack, and a sick heart for a long time. So they didn't want Bella. I says to Fanny, before, if you want to punish me, send me with Polly shopping, because she used to look on every package, the date, and so, I didn't like to go with her shopping. But then when Bella came, she took it off. So I was telling Howard that Polly didn't know about Nate, that Nate committed suicide. She didn't know, because she didn't have a chance to find out, because as soon as she died, she came with us. We went to the country. She was going with us to the country. At winter time, she was living with us in the condo.
Nobody told her?
So she was very little in Hartford, and she didn't have a
Yeah.
chance, and they didn't tell her.
Well, we understand how that works.
And Bella doesn't know till today.
Oh, really? Would you like a drink of water?
No, because she doesn't know, because she's nervous herself, and we were afraid to tell her.
Okay, let's take the story back to when after you got married. See, you can't believe people. She said no. She's thirsty.
Andrew, darling, bring me a tissue. Bring me a tissue. A tissue.
This is a wonderful story, Dad. It's a wonderful story.
Listen, 89 years. If you live 89 years, there's
And you
plenty
have
to
plenty-
tell.
You got a lot of stories to tell. That's true. That's true.
I was telling about myself. I had an appendix, I had an attack on the appendix, and they froze it. And then I got another attack, and Fanny took me to her doctor, a woman's doctor. And he diagnosed good, he says I need an operation. He operated, and he didn't clean out good. So again, I had started to get pus, started to swell up, I had a temperature. Again operated. 3 times I was operated on the appendix. You see, it was ruptured, but the pus didn't spread.
Lucky.
It was in one place. So he didn't clean out right. So twice, the same doctor. Then I went to a different doctor and said, I went to and I cleaned out good. I was in Bellevue Hospital, and he made a good job.
Good. Okay, so let's see. Where you were just married and divorced. Now tell us about your child.
My
and
child.
And your work. You had to go to work.
Well,
How
I
did
worked,
you support yourself?
I worked 35 years in one place. And
Okay,
your
now
father
as-
used to send for you till you was, I think, 18. He
Okay.
used to send a couple of dollars.
But as a young mother, you didn't go to work, right? My father worked.
Sure, I didn't have time then.
Okay,
No.
but after...
Years ago, the women didn't work.
Okay, after you left, you had to go to work.
Yeah, I got a job.
Okay, what kind of work did you do?
Bella was working in a shop, so she took me in there.
What did you make there?
I'm sure I had enough.
No. What kind of products did you make?
I worked on braziers.
All your
boilers.
life you worked at Bras.
35 years.
Wow.
I worked 35 years in the same place. But then the bosses died and they changed, the bosses changed. And, it wasn't so good. So
In other words, you didn't change. The management changed.
What was the name of the company? Do you remember?
Imperial Brazier, a cheap line. They used to give to JCPenney,
You want me to hold this?
Managua War.
Shall I hold this?
They used that spare the customers.
Shall I hold this?
I worked 35 years in the same place. Before we were in New York, and we had a bridge, a Williamsburg Bridge. I used to walk over the bridge. I used to get at 5 o'clock in the morning and make myself lunch to take with me. I have breakfast. I used to walk over the bridge. Would you believe it?
And back to?
I could take the train near my house, the elevator, but I didn't. I walked, and I took the same train in the Lancey Street on the other side of the bridge. But sometimes when it was slow, and we used to come in an hour later, I used to walk all the way to work to Broadway.
How far was that, do you think?
I used to take me about 15 minutes to walk.
Julius was very young then, right?
Yeah.
Who took care of him when you
My
went to
mother-
work
my
at
mother-
5?
My mother
Your
used
mother.
to.
My grandmother.
And my sister lived on the same block, and she had this son, a week older than him, and everybody thought they're twins. I had pictures. I left it by Elaine. I
You
had
look very
pictures
similar
of the
to
two of them. I left it by Elaine. And it was much easier because my sister lived, Fanny lived a block away.
Yeah. They were like my brothers.
And I was
Yeah.
telling Jill before at the socks there, he used to put on every day a pair of white socks. So on Sunday, I used to wash it. Not only the socks, I used to wash everything.
Wash my feet.
By
And I
hand.
used to hang out on the line, by us. So my neighbors used to count how many pairs of socks I washed. You worked very hard, we had an ice box. We didn't have no refrigerators. We had an ice box. So across the street from us, there was the iceman that used to sell ice. I used to go out and bring ice. The milk that he'll drink, he should be cold. To prepare that the milk should be cold, when he'll have to drink it.
Now, where were we living at that time?
Huh?
On Rodney Street?
around the
We were
street.
looking around
Yeah.
because I remember the Iceman. He
Yeah,
used to have these huge cakes
yeah,
of
yeah.
ice delivered, and then by hand with a pick, he'd break
I
it into
used to go
sections.
out to bring in the ice by myself.
Why did you do
When
that?
we
He
did
used to
some,
deliver it.
the milk should be cold and it should be,
He would put.
and you know,
Go ahead.
I used to, you know, he was
Interesting.
very skinny. I used to put in sweet cream in the milk.
I caught her several times.
Maybe it wasn't good for the, that's how I got the cholesterol.
Yeah, she used to try to fatten me up.
You were very skinny?
Oh, I was very thin.
It was very thin.
I think I was thinner than Joshua even.
Sound like Joshua.
See, here's an example of an occupation that's gone. Used to get these huge cakes of ice and then cut them up according to size.
Yeah.
Some people bought 10 cents worth,
Yeah.
and some bought 15 cents worth, and some bought a quarter's worth and 50 cents worth. And then sometimes he'd put these huge pieces
Yeah.
on his back, and he'd have to walk up to the fifth floor to deliver it.
And we had a pot on there for the water to
And
live.
that's what he did all day long.
How many times a week? Once a week? Twice a week?
Well, it depends, you know, how they melt it, how soon they melt.
See, an ice
If
box,
it
you
was
have
hot,
the
you know, it
ice
melted
container
sooner.
on top,
Mm-hmm.
much like where the freezer is today. And then they distribute the coolness through the rest of the box. But there were no refrigerators. But it was very innovative just to have that. But this poor guy, up and down, up and down.
Well, listen, he was young.
Well, he was a husky
Yeah.
man. Tony
You know,
was
when we first came to the States, we lived in Monroe Street, and we lived on the 4th floor. And my mother used to carry up a huge big of ice. My mother was younger when she came to America. I think she was 60 or something.
That's pretty young. That's good.
Sure,
Of
because
course, European women were used to working hard.
sure, the European women are used to work, you know, and hard,
They
very
worked
hard.
They worked hard.
Some people, the husbands used to be in temple all the time, and the women used to work and make a living for them.
Yeah. That's true.
Your stove then for cooking probably was a wood stove? Did you put wood in?
Yeah, we had a stove, yeah.
But what did you put in the stove?
Coal,
Coal?
maybe.
Coal, wood.
Oh, it
And,
was wood.
and on the, you know, you can't make all the time the stove inside. So on the corner, in the stove was a little thing, they called it a pripychuk. You know, they have a Jewish way from
Yeah.
pripychuk, not the fire. And it was such a little that you, for a pot to put up. Under the stove, we used to keep the chickens.
The what?
Chickens,
The chickens.
yeah, they call it a katuch. And they used to lay the eggs over there.
Oh, so you had
And
one
sometimes
egg.
when you wanted to see if they have eggs there, one of us, the little one I suppose, we used to go in there and see if there's some eggs under the stove, imagine. We used to keep
Isn't that
chickens
amazing?
there.
Now, I remember as a kid, it was
That
warm
was
in the
already
kitchen.
in America, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about Europe.
Oh, but this was on South Fifth Street. We had a great big black stove, and it was nice and warm in the kitchen. But if you slept off in the adjoining rooms, it was freezing, and I froze.
Well, I have by me now in Florida. In dining room and in kitchen is summertime, and in living room and in bedroom is wintertime because I don't get the sun there, so it's cool. But in dining room and kitchen, the sun comes in, so it's hot, it's warm.
Okay, well, let's see. So, there you are, a young woman with a son, and you went to work.
Yeah,
Did you go to school also?
sure.
Tell us about the school.
I remember only one thing that the teacher, she asked us to spell Thanksgiving. So I spelled Thanksgiving with a K. So she explained to us that it meant to give thanks, Thanksgiving. This I remember very well. But we went, only one season I went to night school. And I used to correspond with him while he was in the army. So it made me catch up the spelling, and I was pretty good at spelling, wasn't I?
Very well. Very good. No question about that. So you work in the same place.
35 years.
It's got to be a world's record. And,
Yeah. So now I belong to the union, so I'm getting retirement, $112 a month.
Still today?
Huh?
Still today you get checks
Yeah.
from them?
And I have an insurance when I die, you'll get $1,700. But I gave you already a slip. And in case you wouldn't know something, you'll have to ask Lena Gollup, because he collected for his father. You know.
I see. Okay.
I gave you a slip
did.
that you.
I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. Okay, so let's see, what else? Can you guys think?
We
of
were
some
talking
questions?
about sort of everyday life back in the 20s
Alright.
and 30s.
In this country.
Yeah.
What?
You want to talk, shall we talk about that a little
Yeah.
further?
About what?
Howard is interested in what was it like when you spent a day, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday. What was it like every day on Delancey Street?
You mean in Europe?
No, here. What was it like? Was it crowded? Was it busy?
You mean
Was it
in
excitement
New
on
York?
the street?
You ever lived
Yes,
in,
yes.
in Brooklyn?
As a young woman, no, this is not in
You
Brooklyn.
lived in New York.
You lived in New York,
Yeah.
right. What was it like? Do you remember?
Well, Fanny was always, we spend a lot I spend an awful lot with Fanny.
Did you go shopping?
Of course.
Okay, so
We had across the street a grocery.
what was it like to go shopping? Yesterday the girls went shopping. They had to go miles to a special place.
To a shopping
where they
mall
had to a shopping mall.
with hundreds
No,
of
years
stores.
ago with everything, we had everything. There was a place, Havermeyer Street.
Yes.
Remember Havermeyer?
Sure.
That's where we used to go shopping.
So that was
But
a
we
staple
had a
of the store.
grocery store right across the street. You could buy bread, you could buy milk, you could buy there.
So,
But I suppose for fruits, we had to go to Havermeyer.
so actually, it wasn't that different, except it wasn't as fancy. All the stores were located
Yeah,
in an area where everybody went
yeah.
shopping. for
Like
their
now, I
everyday
can
needs.
shop near me, it's a market, but it's
Yeah.
twice the price. I go to Washington Avenue to shop.
Well, of
But
course.
back then, if you wanted to buy fabric to sew something, would you go to a special store for fabric, or would you go to
No, they had it, they had everything.
a variety
Years
store
ago,
that had everything?
Like if you used to have stores that fix Venetians, that fix, screens near, 2 blocks away. Now everything moved away, not every, they move away where it's more convenient
Tell-
for
listen,
more
tell us-
business.
There's something that you had that nobody has now. That's push carts. Remember the push
Yeah,
carts?
Havermeyer Street.
Yeah, tell us about the push carts.
They used to be on the street, with tables, and all kind of stuff they put out on the tables. Didn't have to go in the store.
In other words, you
Right
had all
on the
those
side.
stores, and then sort of a, how shall I say, a black market where all these push carts selling the same merchandise.
Yeah.
So the competition.
Was it the competition, or was it the same store owners that had their carts
No,
out?
not the same.
in front.
not different.
It
Yeah,
was different.
And I think they sold cheaper, didn't they?
Yeah.
They didn't have overhead.
Yeah, right. Push carts for
Hmm.
blocks and blocks. And the last time that we went to New York, we looked for push carts.
In Orchard Street, in New York, they had Orchard Street. Like Havermeyer
Yeah,
in Brooklyn, they had in New York Orchard Street. Everybody knows about Orchard Street.
Yeah.
Over there you can get the best material in Orchard Street. People used to come from far away to get material, for sewing if somebody wanted. But I really didn't, at Orchard Street I was we lived in Glen Street,
Yeah.
when I gave up my home.
That
I
was in
moved
Manhattan.
to Bubbie.
Mhm,
Bubbie lived with Bella.
mhm.
My mother lived with Bella. Bella was single yet. And then I separated and I gave up my home. I put my furniture in the storage and I came to live with them, with my mother and Bella. And then Bella got married and so I remained with my mother. But we moved to, why did we move? I don't know. We moved with Bubbie to Monroe Street. And then we moved to Hooper's.
And what made you move to Brooklyn? Because it was far away from where you worked. So you lived in Manhattan.
Maybe because Fanny lived there.
I see.
Maybe
Just to
because
stay
Fanny-
together, do you think? Because actually she moved away quite a distance from her place of work. See, in Manhattan, it was a short walk to where you worked.
True, yeah.
But when you went, live on
I
South Fifth
really
Street.
don't know why we moved to Brooklyn.
she added about
Maybe
5
because-
miles to her.
Because Fanny, Fanny lived in Glen Street. And she gave us her apartment and she moved to Williamsburg.
Yes,
She
okay,
moved
she was the
to a
first.
fancy house where they had steam heat
Oh boy.
and an elevator. So she gave us her apartment.
Uh-huh.
So then we moved near her, after a while.
And
Makes sense.
about when would that have been? What year was that, or how old was Julius then,
Then,
when you moved that time?
I don't know, maybe about 5, 6 years old.
Okay.
Maybe 5, 6
I
years.
remember going to school in
Yeah,
Williamsburg.
you went about 5, 6
I
years old.
remember the first grade. I remember the
You
kindergarten.
see, because my sister had the same age,
Uh-huh.
and he had good company, and
Now, let me
always
ask you
with them.
something. When I went to kindergarten, did I speak English?
At the beginning, no. They wanted a drink of water. They want to tell the teacher, Wasser. She, no, I'm thinking sometimes with the Spanish kids.
Same thing.
While they get bored here, they don't talk English, they talk Spanish. But when they start to go to school, they learn.
Yeah, there were many children of the first generation that did not speak English,
No.
but had to learn English on the spot. And that was one. I thought that was the case. Yeah,
And Julie, you remember grade school?
pretty well. I even remember kindergarten, which is quite unusual. I know we had 2 teachers. One was a Miss Brown, the other one I don't know.
What did you do on the weekends for entertainment when you weren't working on the
I was
weekends?
doing housework.
Oh,
I was washing.
It was her entertainment.
Washing windows. My mother used to tell me, you'll be sorry when you get old. You'll be sorry, but you're using up all your strength. You'll be sorry. My mother used to tell me. And when my mother got sick, and she says to me, she was 82 years old. She says, I don't care, I'm dying. I'll live my life, but I'll leave you alone. She said, he was already in the army. I'll leave you alone. Should you go to live with Fanny, my older sister? She wanted you to work for, she was dominating. Should you live with Bella, younger sister? Her husband wasn't good, he was bad nature. Take in a companion, another woman should stay with you.
you probably didn't have much time to date, or to date other men. You never met any other
No.
men to date, or
There was a man that never wanted to get married. And I wanted to say something, I forgot.
That's all right.
you're talking about taking
Yeah,
in another woman.
I kept the house very clean,
Yes.
and I used to give my mother a bed, So she used to say to me, you wash me and you keep me clean. Who's going to do it for you? Yeah. I used to change her bedding. She used to say, I'm going to a nice clean bed. Who wants to go to the ground? She didn't want to die. She had also a heart attack. She died from a heart attack.
She was 83,
82.
82. And how old were you then?
And she was,
How old were you then? Were you in your 50s?
he was sent to the army.
Well,
And she used to cry, you know.
How old
She
were you
used to
doing
cry.
when you
She
went
used
in
to
the army?
listen an awful lot.
about 19.
You was 19. I must have been, how old?
See, they never told me.
Were you born
Maybe in
in
the 40s,
24?
maybe 40,
Yeah.
some.
1943 is about when that would have been. So
About
you were
44.
in your 40s
Yeah, I was
when
in
your
the
mother
40s,
died, in
Yeah,
your mid 40s.
yeah, I was in 41 or 42.
Was Julie always a good student and a good teenager?
Yeah, it was all right.
Pretty good kid. I had to get good grades, I knew it. Because if I didn't, I couldn't go to college. Nobody could support me. And I knew that if I made the grades, I could go to the College of the City in New York, which was a free college.
You know, they had a school, they taught the school that he has a moimer.
Oh.
But still, they took him to the army.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that was something that he had from
Still have
years
a
ago.
Yeah.
Did they always, when you were in the army, did they say anything about your murmur?
No,
Maybe it was one of
I
those
was
that kind of
placed on
comes and
limited
goes.
service because I had such bad hay fever.
He had hay fever yesterday,
Almost
just
asthmatic. As a matter of fact, when I came to Milwaukee, I had a terrible time here. It's changed since that time. But they totally ignored the murmur,
Hmm.
which is really strange.
It may not have been.
There's been years.
It may not have been a significant one.
I don't know, who knows? It depended on how many men they needed at that
How
particular.
desperate they were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they knew they were going to have a drive, they needed more men. And so they put people on regardless. But there were a lot of us in service at that time. I think over 12 million.
Hmm.
A lot of people.
Wow.
So we're up to about the 1940s now.
Yeah, Grandma died. And you had to live by yourself. But of course then you heard the news that I met Bernice after Bubbie died.
You know, when he met Bernice, and I said, the name is Tomaski. Oh, she says, it's not a Jewish name. Oh, it's not a Jewish name.
Well, at any rate, I never did come home.
Huh?
I never came home.
No. She didn't see you anymore.
No.
What about the Depression? Were you affected much during the Depression?
No, we didn't have.
You were poor enough that it probably didn't matter, I
Well,
suppose.
you didn't work every day though, did you?
What?
During the Depression?
Yeah.
I would want to know how
I
it
was
affected you.
working, you know, and I didn't.
I guess women still needed an uplift.
Yeah.
Regardless, Depression or no one.
I was working piecework. I'm not a very fast worker, but
I remember she didn't work every day though.
Mm.
She worked like a couple of days a week.
oh,
You, during the
COVID.
Depression. Oh,
Sometimes when they used to get slow,
Yeah.
but you know, and they say Saturday I didn't do in the house much. You know, my mother was a little religious. You know, I want to tell you something about my mother. You know, she was a little religious, and he loved bacon. You know, so on Saturday she used to go to the temple. I had a special frying pan, and I used to make for him bacon. Saturday when my mother used to go early to the temple. So one Saturday she forgot something, and she came home, and she knew right
caught
away
you.
the smell.
She
Uh-huh.
thought you.
Recognized right away the smell. So I told her I have a separate and something else. For the weekend, the holiday, I bought steak. And so, you know, in Europe, the Jewish people have to make kosher. If you can't keep the meat more than then 2 days or 3 days, if you don't make it kosher, they're not. So I bought steak for the weekend. It had to stay in 2 or 3 days. So I make him the steak. He said, you can't eat it, it's too salty. What is it? She made kosher. She made kosher the steaks. She put up plenty of salt.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
No.
I had to
Didn't-
throw out
didn't
I
tell
had
you
to
about
throw
it.
out the steaks.
Mm.
Oh, so fascinating. How did he come home? So a friend brought you?
No, he's been home a while.
You want to tell us what the butcher shop was like
Huh?
in those days, a butcher shop.
Yeah.
Today you go into a butcher shop and you order whatever you want. It's all cleaned up, comes in a nice package,
Yeah.
no feathers, no nothing. What was it like?
By us,
When
we
you
had
were
to
buying
buy a
flowers.
chicken and then plug it ourselves. And we bought a chicken with the feathers.
Did you hear what
Well,
you
is,
said?
Yeah.
is Alex still sleeping?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he wouldn't be able to fall asleep at night.
he sleeps a long time. This is not unusual.
Imagine yesterday they didn't sleep.
He's tired.
So you bought a chicken complete with the feathers, huh? And you have to pluck
We
it
had to
yourself?
plug it ourselves, yeah.
However, if I
And
remember
open it
correctly,
and everything.
didn't they have people who used to work
Huh?
at plucking chickens? The feathers? I remember. To this day, they used to sit right by the window. And that's all they would do is pluck the feathers off the
And
chicken.
you know,
That's a
When
terrible
we
job.
used
I've
to-
done it.
when
Out on the farm.
we used to take
When we
a,
used to
a
slaughter
live
the
chicken,
chickens.
a live chicken and take it to the shaker, you know, that he used to cut, you know. So we used to have to bring it to, they call it, how they call it in English, that they, the Jewish people, they take it to a man, he has to be educated for that. He used to cut the chicken and
In a humane
and
way.
we were on the ground, and we used to put our foot, she used to struggle, you know. We used to put the foot on her neck, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jill's had to kill chickens.
I was usually the hatchet person.
Oh,
My cousin would hold them like this, and I did the hatchet.
and we
Is mine
used to
going
take the shaker, you know,
I don't see the
it
light.
should be kosher, you know, the kosher.
Yeah.
And he used to cut and throw them on the floor, and we used to put on the foot that should make the end, you know.
Yeah.
She shouldn't struggle.
Yeah.
See, I'm wondering when all this changed. You know,
Well,
because it's within my recollection.
No,
right.
that was in Europe.
I remember when
But
they
a
used to
lot of
pluck
things
chickens.
were
You-
maintained
you-
out in the
you-
country
you
that
the
were
same
not
thing,
maintained in
yeah.
the city.
Yes.
I mean, you know, killing the animals and preparing them.
Mom, where are you going?
For the lady left.
Oh,
Give it
here,
to Jill.
I'll take it. It's fine.
So when did you decide to go to Florida? Why don't you sit down?
Then Harry died. When my brother-in-law died, my sister wanted me to come to live with her. She had a big apartment, 2 bedrooms. But she, like my mother said, she would want me to work for her, you know. And my mother
This is
said,
Fanny?
should you go with Fanny? She'll make, you know, the famata, how do you say famata?
Tire you up.
She'll make you work a lot. So I knew, you know, she has 3 sons, and she used to make like mama lunches and you know and
Tireless.
invite them. So I was
Tireless.
afraid to go, you know. So I didn't go. So she was a little angry. But when my brother had a emphysema, and his children already had the stores they could afford, so they sent him to Florida for the winter. And my sister lost her husband, my brother-in-law, so she came for a few months to stay with my brother in Florida. And she liked it very much.
Now you're talking about Bella?
No,
Not
No.
Bella,
No,
the other
Fanny.
one.
Fanny.
No,
Okay.
Celia.
yeah, no, Fanny.
Fanny.
And so she liked it very much. And so she said the next winter, me and her took a place, and the fishes, we call it, in Florida. We would see how we'll get along, not far from my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, we did get along. So while we were there, the landlady that my brother stayed, where we live now, she came from the same city where my brother from Hartford. She wanted to sell it for condos. So one of the men was interested, and he bought the whole place. So the landlady said, she don't sell it if they don't want the Gilmans, my brother, because the man that bought it, he had on the list his own people. There were 16 families. And they didn't want us either because we were strangers. But the landlady said she wouldn't sell them to them unless the Gilmans, they were led by the Gilmans and they're another family. So we bought it, you know. So my sister gave Fanny a few $200 to the man, to an organization he belongs, you know, some, to give it, and we got the apartment. So after we bought the apartment, it was in March. Everybody went home for the summer, you know, April, March. And my brother died during this time in Connecticut. We went to New York, we had to give up our homes because we stayed the winter so that we can get together. I had to give up my home. My sister didn't give up her home. One of her sons to come. So my brother died during the time. He didn't come anymore. But my sister-in-law came by herself.
And what was her name?
Pauline.
Okay.
Pauline, yeah. She came by herself, and we came, you know, me and Fanny. And since that time,
And that's the same apartment that you're in now?
yeah,
How many years have you been there?
22 years. The same furniture, only I bought a new refrigerator. The same furniture, the same garage. If you would see how I have to make the stove, you would never believe it. It's 22 years we live here, I live. And the people before that lived maybe in the houses, they say about 35 years old. So when my sister was alive, we have a pilot on top, you know, that you can put on 4-burners. But on the bottom, we have a pilot, but we can't put it, we didn't want to put it out, and we don't want to put it. So there is a button on top that you press it, and somebody has to go underneath and light it.
Yeah.
So if my sister was alive, she used to press it, and I used to go. But when my sister died, what shall I do?
You don't use the oven now?
I do, but I'm going to tell you. I found a brick, and I put it on the button on the top.
And then you can reach under and light it. Well, that was smart.
That's how I use my oven.
No microwave, huh? No.
I didn't think about it here for a microwave.
Sure you would.
You used to go to the country a lot. My dad always
We used
talks
to
about
sure.
going to the
And you
farm.
see, my sister's vendor, they got married to one of the, that had a hotel there. And we had a bungalow, you know, near the hotel. We used to come to the hotel, we had a wonderful time, you know, a few summers, I don't know, maybe 10 summers. She's dead 9 years. And in the last summer already we didn't go. That's 10 years, that means for 12 years we were going.
Even when you lived in Florida, you'd go up to New York during the summer to the resort?
Who?
Even when you lived down in Florida, you would come up for a while during the summer, huh?
Yeah, we used to go for the summer. We used to stay by her son, by the dentist, a month. So the summer in the bungalow is only 10 weeks.
Oh.
But we used to go, we used to stay away 4 months. We used to stay by her son in Rockaway. A month before and a month after. We used to be away 4 months every summer. David came out to the country a few times. They stayed at the hotel.
This is Kerhonkson.
Yeah, that's Kerhonkson.
I think Howard asked you about Uncle Nathan's farms. Remember?
Yeah.
His first farm, then the second farm.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about that?
We had a good time, you know. And the farms too. We used to go to the farm.
Sure.
And by Nathan.
Did he have? It sounds like everybody went there. Did he have a big farmhouse that everybody could sleep in? And
I don't know. Everybody
I suppose all
would
the
go
kids
there.
slept together.
I didn't go much because I was working. But you used to go with my sister, you know,
Oh.
Fanny. And my mother used to go.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was big.
My sister,
Accommodated a lot of people.
she wasn't a clean housekeeper, but she was a very good cook.
Fanny?
No, Polly, my
Polly?
sister-in-law, Polly. But after my brother died, she was a lot with us. Winter time in Florida, summertime in the country.
Yeah. The farm is sold. The family didn't hold on to it, did they?
They sold it and they bought a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when my brother's sons went to the business, they had no money. So my brother mortgaged the farm.
Oh.
Yeah, he mortgaged the farm, and Howie lended them some money. They paid it back. And I know about the farm, you know. Then Nathan sold the farm, I suppose.
Yeah, I think he did. Wow.
Do you have any more questions?
No.
Was there any family left back in Russia?
Huh?
Was there any family left back in
We
Russia?
had, second cousins, I think I was telling. Moving Gilman went to Russia about 4 years ago. And my sister used to correspond, she used to correspond with everybody. She used to correspond with our second cousins. And when Irving Gilman went to Russia, he went to see them, the second cousins.
Mhm.
And he was very, friendly with them. And he was telling us, now my nephew, Fanny's son, went to Russia last year. And he also went to see them. And she has a daughter and 2 boys. That's what I've been telling you, that they went to Israel.
Mhm.
So they wanted very much to come to America. But it was very hard in it. So Sylvia, my niece, made, Boy Gilman, she let him know. And the brothers Milton, they all rich. They all chipped in some money.
Mhm.
And they sent her to Israel.
Oh.
The daughter, not the mother. Although she wanted, because of account of the 2 boys, she didn't want them, they should remain in Russia if they went to war. So they were in Israel, So I told about the 2 boys that they circumcised them.
Yes.
That's
Just
the war.
those 2
Mhm.
boys.
Yeah.
But the mother remained in Russia, maybe with the time. And the mother has a sister in Israel. Maybe together, maybe they'll bring her also to Israel. But now she's still not happy in Israel. And for a year's time, they give her a house where to live, an apartment where to live. But now she's already there about 5-6 months. It's in the year finished. So my niece tries again to collect some money to send for her. So far she let know Evelyn Gilman, one Evelyn Gilman, other. So far she didn't hear from them. So she sent her on, so far she sent her on $50. Then later she'll see what's going to be. I also promised her I'll give her $2.
Well, I can't think of any more questions.
No.
Thanks.
Huh?
I said thank you. Those are wonderful stories.
Where did we just go? What kind of
She went shopping.
buy for food or
Well,
for...
you need aspirins, you need things,
Yeah, all right.
Here it comes.
The grandma saw it yesterday, did she?
Yeah.
You have to sing very loud.
But I'm a part of it.
Okay. You'll read the pages.
I'm there.
Jamboree. Story and pictures by Bruce Deegan. Berry, pick me up. Blueberry,
Sing loud.
Berry, four berry, berry, strawberry, finger and strawberry, strawberry ponies, strawberry lambs, dancing in meadows of strawberry jam. Jamberry, 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 jam. Jamberry, 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 jam. Jamberry, 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 jam. Jamberry, jamberry, jam. Berry, blackberry, 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 cookie, blackberry.
Very loud in the last class.
Well, guys, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. What do you think? Should I shave my beard?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had it for a long time. I don't know.
We got to share. Yeah. I know we got to share.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm just going to trim it a little first. So don't get too excited yet. No, is it worth having the shave? I've had this for about 12 years.
What did you say to Andrew?
I didn't say anything. Where is Andrew? Andrew, what are you doing?
Take a hand. Take a hand. Take a hand there.
Take a hand?
Yeah.
This one. Oh, thank you. A yellow card.
It's for me.
Oh, it's for you.
I brought it.
Alex, do you think I should shave my beard off?
Yeah. Why are you shaving your beard off?
I don't know. Andrew? Do you think I should shave my beard off? Yeah. Seems like everybody does.
You should.
I should.
Yeah.
No, but it ran out of power. It ran out of battery power. Maybe that's an omen. I don't know. My electric one isn't working very well.
We'll just put it down.
Okay. Well, since the razor doesn't work, we'll try the old-fashioned way.
What?
I said, since my razor doesn't work, I'll try the old-fashioned way. What did you say, Andrew?
What are you gonna do after you're done clipping your beard?
Maybe I'll shave all my hair off. Should we do that?
No.
That would look pretty silly, wouldn't it?
When you're done cutting your hair, you should never shave it. No, you should never shave hair off. We should never shave hair.
I think we're beyond the point of no return here, guys. Oh, God. Don't drop cars into the toilet, please.
Put it there. I can open it. And the door's so bright.
You can sing some more. Do you want to sing it again? What, are you trying to get a better seat here?
Yeah, I'm trying to get more room. Move a little. Move a little.
Well, I don't really have any shaving cream because I wasn't counting on my new razor losing power, so I'll just use some soap and a razor and we'll try it that way.
I want some water.
I'm kind of busy with it now.
You're getting the water all dirty.
Yeah, I know. I would have liked to have gotten it shorter before doing this.
Move, move, and move. Move!
No fighting, guys.
And we're never moving. How could you shave like that. There, there, there.
I think that's how people do it. I don't really remember.
Why don't you shave your beard now?
I think I am. I think I am.
I like to watch a movie. I like to watch a movie. I like to watch a movie. If Mom says no, we can't. If Mom says yeah, we can. Why don't you do your beard now?
I am, honey.
If she says no, we can't. If she says yeah, we can. Okay? Still. So can we watch a movie?
Mm-hmm.
How about we watch Peter Pan? Yeah. And
That's
we could
fine, but I can't help you right now.
movie.
Yeah, but I can't help you right now because I'm sort of busy.
Oh, when you're done
Sure.
shaving it.
When I'm done, I can help you.
Oh. Because I need some water.
Slow but sure. Got through enough razors. The sideburns are still a little too long. Last time I had sideburns, long ones were in style. Getting there. Good thing, because I'm almost out of tape.
This week and get 0% financing for 1 year. Get 0% financing on the brands you want, like Panasonic, including Panasonic camcorders, Panasonic VCRs, every Panasonic video product. Low prices on the brands America wants and 0%